here's a fun one for you guys. We've got a couple of the Atlas Gunworks workhorses. We have the Athena, which is a 4.6-inch barrel limited optics gun. We have the Titan, which is a 5-inch barrel limited optics gun. And we have the Artemis, which is a 4.6-inch with a sight block. So you have a little bit of extra weight on here. I get a lot of questions about these guns and which one is the best. Now, I've got the Athena in my safe, and I also have an Artemis, but it's in 40, so it's not a really good comparison. So now that I've got a student out here with a couple of extra Atlases out here, yes, sometimes it feels weird to feel Atlas poor, but Barton did that for me. We're going to do a comparison on these three. These are the three that are the most similar and probably the three that I get the most questions on. We're going to do 2 mags each. We're going to run a couple of drills and do some slow-mo for you to see if there's any real difference between the three and see which one I like shooting the best. Now, we've already spent an entire day on the range shooting and training, but we're going to go ahead and run through a couple of drills, starting with the Athena. This is my gun. This is one I have the most comfort level with, the most familiarity with, and also the one that I shot 2 weeks ago for the Florida State match and won with. So I'm very comfortable with this gun. It's a fantastic workhorse. Got a lot of rounds on it. We're going to run through a sequence of drills. We're going to start with a bill drill, then we're going to do a Blake drill, then we're going to work a little bit of throttle control, and then we're going to get some slow motion. We're going to do that with each of the guns so you guys get to see how they perform in real time. Let's start off with a bill drill. So we have a bill drill, which is a classic. I want to make sure you're able to see the gun as we're shooting this. 7 yards from the target. We got a clean target up. Stand by. All right, that was a 185 bill drill. I threw a Charlie on my very first shot. Right here on the left-hand side, we got 1 Charlie. The rest of them are all alphas. Let's go ahead and run a Blake drill. Again, how this gun feels to me is very familiar. It's got a very kind of snappy recoil return. It comes right back to 0 the way I like it. We're gonna go ahead and do a Blake drill, which is 6 shots across the 3 targets. Stand by. Ooh, that one was real sloppy. We got a 195 and I threw a delta on the middle target. We're gonna run that one more time, right to left this time, see if we can clean it up a little bit. Much better vision that time. We had a 204. Barton, come on down here. We have 2 alphas here. We've got Alpha and the Charlie here, and then we've got probably, I guess, Alpha Charlie or 2 Charlies on that one. Let's go ahead and run some slow-mo real quick with this one. I'm going to shoot some doubles so you can just see the performance of this as it comes back onto target. All right, I got a couple more rounds here. We're going to go ahead and run one more drill with a little throttle control. I'm going to shoot headshot, body, headshot, and I think that'll take us pretty close to the end of our 2 mags. Let's give this a run. All right, we've got a 264, 2 headshots here, 2 body, and 2 headshots. That makes me happy. Let's go ahead and grab the Artemis, and we're going to go ahead and run some drills with that. Get a little comparison going. Now we're going to test out the Artemis, and as you can see, this one has a sight block up front. Now what that does, if you're running iron sights, is it gives you a stationary position to focus on if you're doing front sight focus. But really the biggest benefit of this is having a little bit of extra weight that's stationary on the front of the gun. A little bit less mass reciprocating back and forth, and ideally a little bit of less vertical recoil because of that. Let's go ahead and put that to the test and see what happens. So just like with the Athena, we're going to run a bill drill first, then we'll run a Blake drill. We'll do a little throttle control drill and some slow-mo for you guys. Let's do this bill drill. Stand by. All right, that was a 202 bill drill, all alphas. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a double, 5, 6 rounds. And I'll tell you, that one actually felt really good. Is it that much different than the Athena? We're gonna find out when we go to the slow-mo, but it felt good. One other thing about this one is we have a gas pedal here, a little thumb rest on this. That does help a little bit with that muzzle down recoil management, but it's not like the be all end all. It's not a game deal or a deal breaker for me. Let's go ahead and run the Blake drill now. We ran the bill drill at 202. I'm going to try to match that time with the Blake drill. Stand by. So we've got a 207, so pretty freaking close. I dropped 2 Charlies in the middle one and a Charlie on the first one. Let's run this one more time, right to left. Stand by. Charlie and clean. So not too bad on that one. That was a 205. So pretty consistent with those Blake drills. It's Florida. I got bugs crawling on my sunglasses. Now let's go ahead and run a quick throttle control drill, and then we're going to put some slow-mo on to compare to the Athena. All right, a little throttle control here. Again, starting with headshot to body to headshot. See how well we can throttle this gun. Stand by. So we're actually 2/100ths of a second off from the Athena video, or the Athena, but I actually dropped this round right here into the ear of the target behind it. Does that count? Drop a comment. Let me know if that one counts. I don't know. 2 good body shots here and 2 headshots here. So that's not too bad. Let's throw some slow-mo up. All right, so that was some good slow-mo. Now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna save a couple of rounds in these mags just to do a final comparison at the end of the video, pick one up after another. But before we do that, let's test the Time Classic, kind of the OG platform for Atlas, the Titan. All right, now we're gonna work on the Titan. Similar to the Artemis, it's a longer barrel. So the Artemis and the Athena are actually running 4.6-inch barrel, but because the Artemis has that sight block, it has a longer profile. The Titan is a classic 5-inch barrel. This is kind of where the 1911 and the double stack 1911 originated. The 4.6 was kind of adopted by Atlas to be optimized for 9mm. This is more of a classic gun that has that full dust cover, that tri-cut up on the top. Really nice looking firearm. They have a very similar slide cut between all 3 of them, but overall, is the performance that much difference? Let's go ahead and run that bill drill and see if it's any different between this, the Athena, and the Artemis. Stand by. All right, that was a 207. So right there, the exact same time as all the other ones. One thing I noticed, that one seemed to take me a little bit longer to find just the presentation, jumping from that Artemis and the Athena. All 6 alphas. Let's go ahead and run the Blake drill. All right, so right off the bat, I actually kind of like the way this thing performs. We have a nice, it's almost like a mush back down. It's not as snappy as the Athena. It's very similar to the Artemis, just because I think their weight profile is probably pretty close to the same. We got 2 alpha, dropped I think an alpha Charlie in the middle target, and then 2 alpha in the first target. So let's go ahead and run this backwards, right to left this time. Stand by. Yeah, so that one I was kind of getting a little bit better feel for it. That's a 221, a little slower pace there on the splits and the transitions. Definitely feels slightly different. Now we're gonna run a little throttle control here. Fresh mag in. Got a round in the chamber. Let's make it happen. Headshot, body, headshot. Stand by. All right, I threw an extra shot at the end there because I needed it. We've got a 258 on that one for 6 shots. Looks like, oh, that's not even the right target. I was walking the target array we were training on earlier. 2 headshots here. I think I pulled a delta here when I was coming off of that. This was my first headshot. This was my second. That was my makeup shot. So I don't love that. I actually want to run it one more time. Let's back up, run that throttle control again, because sometimes you got to run it back. Ready? Stand by. better control that time. That's a 253. So actually, the times are pretty much the same, minus the extra makeup shot. We've got 2 headshots, one a little bit low here, 2 good alphas here, and then again, one just a little bit low out of that head box here, but the other one in. Now that we got that with the Titan, let's go ahead and run a little slow-mo so we can compare. So the Titan RDS 5-inch gun definitely performs slightly different. It's not a huge difference. I feel more comfortable with the 4.6 because that's what I'm used to, but I want to put them side by side and shoot them one after another to really see if there's much of a difference. We've got the layout here, guys. I'm going to run the Athena right here. We're going to go to the Artemis, and then we're going to straight to the Titan. We're going to shoot, screw it, we'll shoot 5 or 6 rounds and see what happens. Starting with the Athena, I'm going to go ahead and load all of them up just so there's no delay between each one, okay? So we're going to run the Athena, the Artemis, and then the Titan just like we did in sequence there. So stand by. Real talk now. Was there much of a difference? I don't know if you guys could see it. There really wasn't. I will say the Athena shoots a little bit flatter. I got 3 rounds left in here. I'm sorry, the Artemis shoots a little bit flatter because of that sight block. The Athena's a little snappier, but not too much. Still feels very comfortable because it comes right back to 0, but you do feel a little bit more muzzle lift. The Titan feels pretty similar to the Artemis. So overall, big differences between the 3 of them? Not really. Not really big of a difference. I like the Athena, just the way it feels. I'm comfortable with it. I think out of the 3 of these, the Artemis probably is the softest shooting. It kind of comes right back to 0, but the difference between the Artemis and the Titan is very minimal. And honestly, the 3 of them shoot like a freaking dream. It's like trying to compare Bugattis to see which one feels the best. They all shoot amazing. When I get to this point with these types of guns, a lot of it comes down to personal preference. I'm not seeing really any difference in the performance on the target. Dot tracking is pretty much the same. They're all staying with the dot in the window. The only difference really is with the Athena, slightly shorter barrel without the weight on the front. I'm seeing a little bit more muzzle flip. So that's something to take into account. If you like that, let me know. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what other gun showdowns you want me to do. I enjoy this one. It's always a good time shooting Atlas. Thanks for staying part of this and paying attention to what I'm talking about, seeing some guns shoot. Hopefully I'll see you on the range soon.